Let me say something right now that's going to hit you like a lightning bolt. This video is the kind of video that makes you pause, like actually stop what you're doing, look out the window and go, oh, this is real. Because what I'm about to show you isn't about hype. It's not about, oh, trust me, bro. It's not a tweet. It's not some random chart with triangles. It's a pattern that's been playing quietly for years now. And once you see it, you will no longer be able to unsee it. Because the truth is, XRP wasn't delayed by accident. It was delayed for a reason, and that reason changes everything. I've got my notepad right here, and I'm telling you, this is one of those episodes where you're going to feel like you just found the missing page of a blueprint. And yes, keep your emotions in check because this one is very intense, okay? Today, we're going to connect three things: what Chris Larson said years ago, what global leaders are warning about right now, and why Ripple and XRP were never meant to be a quick flip, but a new system level upgrade. I'm here to show you the architecture because you don't build the next financial era in public. You build it in silence, and you can unveil it only when it can't be stopped. Let's start with the big question. Why did XRP take so long? People ask this like it's some failure. Why didn't Ripple just explode like Bitcoin? Why didn't XRP become global money already? Why does it feel like we've been waiting forever? There's so many questions, so many, uncertainty out there. Let me answer, this with a story. Imagine like it's 1860. You're watching railroads being built across the United States, steel tracks cutting through mountains, crossing rivers, linking cities together. Now imagine someone standing there going, bro, why is it taking so long? Where's the profit? And the builders would look at you like, you don't understand what we're doing here because the railroad wasn't a product, it was infrastructure. The railroad didn't make money because it was cool, it made money because it connected the world. And what happened after the tracks were laid? Industries exploded, trade exploded, cities grew, fortunes were made. XRP is not just some meme coin, it's not a community pump, it is a rail. And rails don't go live until they're connected to something real, authentic. And that delay you're seeing was the system being wired. Now, let's go deeper into all of this, guys. Have you ever wondered why Ripple was one of the only crypto companies that got attacked so aggressively? Think about it. Out of all the chaos, all the screams, all the nonsense, why that one specifically? I'm not even saying this emotionally, I'm saying this logically for you guys to truly understand this. Because Ripple's target market wasn't, retail investors. Ripple's target market was the network of value itself. Banks, institutions, cross-border payments, settlement layers. That's not some little side hustle. That's the bloodstream of global finance. And here's the uncomfortable truth for you guys to really understand and really truly comprehend. When you're building something that could change how money moves, you don't just get competition, you get resistance because legacy systems don't just collapse, they fight. They stall, they delay, they negotiate, they regulate because innovation without control is so dangerous to them. So what did Ripple decide to do? Chris Larson, one of the co-founders of Ripple, told you this very straight up. He said they didn't come in as disruptors, they came in as builders. The same thing that they did with rails many years ago that we always talk about with railroads. That one word right there is everything. Builders. Builders don't go viral instantly. Builders become inevitable. Now let's bring in Chris Larson because the way he explained this was one of the cleanest analogies ever. Chris Larson, said globalization is like fire, and fire needs three things: fuel, oxygen, and heat. No fuel, no fire. No oxygen, no fire. No heat, no fire. Now apply that to globalization. Chris Larson said there are three things that must be interoperable, globally: data, goods, money. We already solved data. The internet did that. We already solved goods. Shipping did that. But money is still trapped in fragmented mess of, different rails, different rules, different systems, different time zones, different, settlement speeds, different intermediaries. That's why globalization feels incomplete. It's like having a fire with smoke, but no flame. And Chris Larson literally said interoperability for money is missing. And when you solve that missing piece, you don't just upgrade payments, you upgrade civilization. This is where it gets even crazier, guys. Chris Larson compared this era to 1994. Think about it. 1994 was the internet before people understood it. Back then, if you told someone, someday you'll carry the internet in your pocket right on this mobile device right here, and it'll change banking, shopping, dating, entertainment, and even politics, they would probably laugh at you and think you're some clown. But because, really think about this, because early internet, looked slow, it looked boring. No one really understood it because no one had any experience with it and no one really was educated on it. And that's exactly how institutional infrastructure looks. It's not flashy, it's not meant for retail dopamine, it's meant for functionality. And Chris Larson literally said something that should wake everybody up. You have to connect the existing networks first. And he said the banks are the networks of value, the same way universities and libraries were the custodians of data. That means the banks must be linked together, the pipes must be connected. Only then does the internet of value become real. And that's where the ILP comes in, interledger protocol, not hype, architecture. Now listen, people get stuck arguing, is XRP the standard? When will it be used? Will it be used? What if banks do without XRP? And if you want to stop thinking like a retail trader and think like an engineer, Chris Larson said it himself, guys. I'm going to keep on referring to Chris Larson because everything that he's saying matches up and it's so true. You need a network of networks. This is literally what Chris Larson said. ILP connects value systems the way, TCP or IP connects data systems. In other words, the internet didn't win because it was cool. It won because it became a universal language. And XRP is positioned as the asset that can move through those rails in real time as liquidity. That's why people call it a bridge asset, because it's not something about payments. It's about connecting everything: stocks, bonds, real estate tokenization, currency corridors, global settlement. And once friction is removed, Chris Larson described it perfectly. He said you get an explosion, like a Cambrian explosion, a sudden burst of new life, new businesses, new models, new economies. Most people think the opportunity is in the coin, but sometimes the real opportunity is in the highway system being built right underneath. Now, this part is really critical right here. Chris Larson says something that people ignore a lot. This cannot happen unless everybody works together. Regulators, banks, entrepreneurs, consumer groups. Why? Because money is a social technology. It's not just code. It is actually trust, and trust is regulated. So the reason XRP didn't just flip on is because the world needed, political and regulatory alignment. You can't install, a new global finance layer the way you install just a new app on your phone. It has to integrate with AML compliance, KYC frameworks, institutional risk rules, settlement systems, liquidity requirements, and just so much more, even governance. So what did Ripple do here? They played the long game. While the market was chasing pumps, Ripple chased permissions. And that's why, the delay wasn't failure, it was just preparation. Now, here's where we bring it into the moment, because right now, globally, we are entering a period of stress. And when systems get stressed, they either break or they upgrade. In your sample, you mentioned global leaders warning about catastrophic risk probabilities in the near term. And whether someone agrees with those exact numbers or not, the point is obvious. The world is changing fast. Geoeconomic tension, fractured globalization, shifting alliances, currency fragmentation, debt pressure, and so much more.